I try to get the club in their hands, and I'll usually start with the putter and explain to them what the object of the game is to get that ball in that hole and to roll the ball along a line. I might, before I put it in their hands, I may have them do things like standing there rolling the ball this way. We're only maybe 5 or 6 feet from the hole, and get rid of all the twitches and things like that. And then I'll put my hand, I'm very big about getting the grip early. Like for little kids, we have a tremendous junior program, and I participate in that. And you have, a child with small stubby fingers, and what I'll do is I'll put an unlapped grip on where both hands are this way, as long as you get their palms opposite. And I'll put my hands on their hands and show them that they don't squeeze the club, that they hold the club lightly, and give them the feeling and put the club over here and put the club over here. Let the club hang down over here, and then stand still and make a little circle with the club, things of that nature. And once you've gotten the person with a feel in their hands of the club and the gentleness with which you hold the club, and explain to that person in the very beginning that if there's a secret to the game or to learning the game, is that muscles and joints should be at ease in their movement. Nothing is tight. Nothing is firm. Nothing is stiff. And if you can get a person thinking that way, they're approaching the game so that they can learn the way we learn, through trial and error. We learn those things through trial and error. Myself as a caddy, Eddie down there as a youngster by himself going out every day. You learn the feel of the club. And now from there you can proceed to putting. And you put them in a position where they can putt. The hardest thing to do in the beginning is get somebody to bend over. And I do that, Rick will remember this, by having them impale the club here in their belly. We were doing the belly putt a long time ago, weren't we, Rick?
86.
And then just carry that down here by flexing your hips and knees slightly, and then just disengaging that club and getting the feeling that the stroke is done from here down. The stroke is an arm stroke. The hands simply hold it. They do nothing to manipulate the face. You set the face, you make, as Jack Burke always said, you make a 90 with the face. And then you just try to swing through the ball with that 90 and roll it in front of you. Simple things like that. And as the person gets a little further, we may go back, and as quickly as possible, I try to get them to chip and then to pitch. So I spend a lot of time with that type of player in the beginning, because if a person doesn't have the feel for the club and the feel of the ball crisply hitting the club face as he goes through, if it's always a clank or a mishit or a top or a chunk, he'll never really get a sense of what a golf swing is. And you have to develop that, and that's time developing that. And it takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of empathy for that person. You have to put yourself in their skin. You have to stand behind that person and put your hands on them and move them gently, whichever way you want to move them and whichever shot. And then, now once we've putted, now we can take a 6-iron or 5-iron and set the club down close to them here and utilize that feeling with that club, and just go ahead and keep the club face running back and through like that. Now you can't do that if you've got hold of the club like this and if you're holding it out here. And I'm a great believer that when you chip, the only thing that belongs to you is the toe. Okay? That you set the club down, and you never use a lofted club to make the ball roll. You don't take a wedge and put it back here and try to drag it this way. I learned that from Demerit a long time ago. We were playing a match in Houston at Champions. Jimmy and I were partners. I missed the green to the right. I'm about 3 feet off the green. The pin was 50 feet away on the left side. Jimmy tried to go at the pin. He buried it under the lip of the bunker, and he had no shot. He just hacked it out. It went about 30 feet by. Jackie and his partner were on the green. So it was up to me to get it up and down. I took a 9-iron, I set it back here, and I led it like that, and I ran it up there, just like that. I was really patting myself on the back. Well, we have the hole, and I'm walking away, and Jimmy grabs me right here. He said, "You don't know anything about golf." I said, "Well, thanks a lot, Jim. I just saved your butt." He said, "No," he says, "Come over here. Get your 6-iron. 6-iron? Yeah. He said, "Get your 6-iron. So I got the 6-iron. I took a regular grip on it, and now I'm standing out here. Okay, danger with that. See, now the club's going to work around, to tend to, or you're going to have to make some awkward. He said, "Now take the club," and he told me the same thing I just told you. "The only thing part that belongs to you is that." He said, "That's like the peen on a hammer." And when I teach this, very often I'll scotch tape a quarter on there and have the person, so that takes the onus off, is it square or is it not square? So now you set it down, and your hands will be cradled beneath you. You'll be fairly upright, and just brush the ground. You don't hit down, you don't hit up. You just brush the ground. Somebody said, "That's wristy." I said, "It would be wristy if I were using my wrist." I said, "I'm moving my hands back and forth with my forearms." That sound familiar?
There you go.
Okay, so that's chipping, and then you back off to pitching. And if you can get a person to pitch a ball 25 or 30 yards, they really have the basics of, as Ed said a minute ago, it's the same motion, a mini version of the same motion. And that's something we don't like to touch, because it's very hard to teach a person not to chili dip it, not to scoop it, not to do all those things that they do. But that would be the progression. So that's a long time thing. And now it depends. You said an absolute beginner.
Absolute
so
beginner.
That's going to take time. And it's going to, you don't go into pitching, and you don't even go into chipping until the next time they come out, they're rolling that putt pretty good, and they have a feel for it. Okay?